From the backstretch at Saratoga, this is Loose on the Lead with Steve Byk and Seth Merrow. Loose on the Lead is sponsored by
Good morning and welcome to Loose on the Lead on another gorgeous day here at Saratoga. Gorgeous Sunday. If you're coming up, we picked a very good day after a really nice day yesterday. Great steak section across the board, and we'll hit on some of that. Also coming up a little bit later on, we'll have some discussion about the sale coming up this week. So stay tuned for all of it. But we're going to kick things off. Speaking of steaks yesterday, World Beater looking very good in the Saratoga Derby Invitational. So we're happy to be joined by Riley Mott. Obviously, my co-host Steve Byk on the far end. But Riley, I saw you. It was Belmont Stakes Day, back doing the post-race interview. Your dad was doing the interview, and you were standing there. I said, "You gonna be in town a little bit? Maybe come over and do TV." You said, "Nah, I'm bouncing. I'll be bouncing back and forth here in Kentucky. So maybe something." Who thought that the next time you would be in town, we'd be talking Grade 1 victory? Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a super special day. You know, Saratoga, Saturday, Whitney, had my whole family around, so it was very meaningful.
Yeah, it had to be big. Again, it was not only your first graded victory, but a Grade 1. And a Grade 1, as you say, up here at Saratoga. And did you see the picture of you and Miguel as kids?
Yeah, we have a few of those. He and I were in diapers together. You know, our dads trained on the same circuit, and in a lot of instances shared the same barn. So we've known each other forever. And for him to, win the 4-star Dave in the very next race, us knock out the Saratoga Derby, that was, probably something we couldn't even have dreamt up as kids.
Yeah, the picture was very funny. Little kids eating some hot dogs or whatnot, and then back-to-back Grade 1s up here at Saratoga. But just reflect on it, because, again, you've been up here summers really right along with your dad being one of the prominent New York-based trainers, and to get a first graded victory and a Grade 1 up here on Big Saturday at Saratoga. Just what did it feel like?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, like I said, my whole family was around, my wife and kids and my parents and aunts and uncles. And it was super special, as a kid, running around the backside here and the front side during the races. I know the place like the back of my hand, and have always aspired to compete at, that level at this track. And for it to happen, it probably hasn't really sunk in yet, but we sure were very jubilant in the moment.
Well, let's help it sink in a little bit. Let's play the stretch run here of the Saratoga Derby Invitational yesterday. It will be number 9, World Beater, getting it done. What were your thoughts coming into the race, and as they came down the stretch, what were your thoughts there?
Well, we knew the horse was training really well, and he had a really, productive race over the track the time before, and a lot of the same faces we had, run against before. And I mean, Junior gave him an absolute perfect trip, saved ground as much as he could, and tipped him out. And, he was collared by the winner of last, month's race, and kind of pushed him along to the end. And it looked like he was drawn away a bit, at the wire. So we were beyond thrilled.
Yeah, you were second in that Belmont Derby up here on July 4th weekend, and then win this one. You're going to aim for the next in the series?
Well, we're going to get him back to Keeneland. He ships back this afternoon back to home base, and we'll, let him chill for a week and watch him train for another week, and go from there. There's plenty of lucrative 3-year-old, races on the schedule going into the fall. So we've got some options, and we'll just do what's right by World Beater.
And one of the options, of course, is the Cox Plate. It's a win and you're in.
Yeah, I guess he's, got a expenses paid entry to that race. It's sure a far way away. And he's a young horse, so we'll keep all options on the table, but would be nice to get another race or two in him here in the States.
Yeah, Joe O'Brien did it a couple of years ago with the winner of the race yesterday, went over the Cox Plate and won, but that horse was traveling around a little bit more. Yeah, it is a big ass to head off to Australia, but nice to know that's an option.
It's fun to qualify for a race like that. but we want to be realistic at the same time.
Steve?
Riley, again, congratulations. Really, between you and Miguel, it was really special. And the rest of the day, subsequently, the 2 dirt stakes, Rusty Arnold, and then the win, of course, in the Whitney. I thought there was a lot of interesting harmonies going on in terms of what this means to you. And also to Pin Oak. Talked about the Bernards. It's a new era for them, and for in the wake of Mrs. Abercrombie's passing and the sale of really one of the underappreciated properties in Lexington.
Mm-hmm.
Pin Oak Stud is a sprawling facility, and this is a huge Grade 1 for them.
Very much so. I mean, to begin with, the Bernards have supported me from day one. They were one of my first clients when I struck out on my own. So they've been, a major factor into getting me going with my business. So to win a Grade 1 for them in Saratoga was very meaningful for me in its own right. They've done a really good job of, continuing Mrs. Abercrombie's legacy at Pin Oak. They've kept a lot of things, original on the farm, and Clifford Berry, who is a major part of Mrs. Abercrombie's operation, is still with the Bernhards now and is still majorly involved. And they formulated a spectacular team, bloodstock team, training facility team, the rehab team. So a lot of people were involved with World Beater and what happened yesterday.
In terms of harmony, it's also a harmony for our show today, because following Riley, Headley Bell from Mill Ridge is going to be here. And we asked Headley before this son of Oscar Performance wins. And we'll also talk about Casa Creed. But for Mill Ridge, this is a horse actually that was bred by Doc Chandler from Mill Ridge. And Oscar Performance is kind of continuing the breakout from last year. This is the second crop and a big Grade 1 for him. Talk about the very quick decision you made to move him. Oscar Performances are performing on dirt, but it didn't take you long to move him to the grass. And then in this circumstance, he'd had a series of 1 1/8 races, but the 1 3/16, you're going another furlong and a half. Mm-hmm. And so that portion of it, and the fact that he'd been moving, I'm sure you saw the sheets. In fact, I'll show it to you. I don't know if we can zoom in, but there's the Thorograph. We talked about it on Thursday on the radio. And even in that race at Churchill, it looks like he went back, but he had trouble that day. This is a horse that has been moving forward with every passing start. Mm-hmm. So now he goes 1 3/16. The upside on him is unlimited.
Sure. I mean, like you said, every time we've increased the distance and class level on him, he's stepped up. I had no reservations about the 1 3/16. Just the way he's been finishing off his races led me to believe it wouldn't be an issue at all. And going forward, hopefully into a healthy 4-year-old year, there's plenty of lucrative races, 1 1/8 and beyond, that I think this horse would fit.
Well, and did you see the figure?
93 Beyer.
Yeah,
and that's
the new career top, another
career
top,
which has been the trend for him. I think he might have run a 6 on Thorough Manager, which is very strong, I think, for a 3-year-old turf horse. And the horse, he just continues to get better, and I've always had in the back of my mind that he'd be maybe even a better 4-year-old than a 3-year-old. So very exciting for everybody.
Outstanding, and he's basically, broke the maiden at 1 1/8. In fact, that was Derby weekend.
Oaks Day?
Oaks
Day.
Derby.
Oaks Day.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
But all he does is run on big days.
I guess. That's the type of horse we want in the
right?
barn. We need a barn full of them.
He's the Chris Carter of 3-year-old turf horses. What he did, we saw the replay and the stretch run there. he's still a lightly raced horse. This is start number 8. To corral the horse on the inside, but then have to fend off the horse to the outside. It's a lot. That's a good sign in itself.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't, when he gets looked in the eye by another horse, he doesn't fold. He actually, I think, thrives off that and gets stronger. As you saw yesterday, the winner from the Belmont Derby collared him at the 8th pole and just kind of gave him another boost to the wire. So you love to have a horse not only with talent but a lot of heart.
This was, I just noticing. I just looked at it for the first time. This was a Keeneland yearling purchase for Pin Oak, $105,000, and it had to be in book 5.
Yeah, I mean, a good horse can come from anywhere at any time. I mean, he was raised at Mill Ridge, bred by Dr. Chandler, raised on really good land. They I have the utmost respect for Mill Ridge. They're fantastic. And, by one of the most progressive sires in America right now. And, just a good horse. And, for, 100,000, I'd say it was a pretty good purchase.
As Steve said, there were a couple of dirt starts to start the career last year as a 2-year-old, and then had some time off and came back and improved markedly with the move to the turf. But I'm questioning, was the improvement due to the move to the turf, or did he mature a little bit, as you're kind of alluding to, got better as he got older?
I mean, I would attribute it mainly to the turf, but, Pin Oak's model is that they want to get the 2-year-olds in and get some miles under their belt, maybe a few races, and, towards the end of the year, give them a little spell at the farm, whether it's, 30 days, 60 days, just to mature, because, horses from 2 to 3, they do change a lot. Yeah. So the horse went back to the farm healthy after those first 2 races and brought him back down to Florida at Palm Meadows, and he had matured and looked like a different horse, and put him on a new surface, and, the rest is history.
Bingo, bango, bongos, I like to say.
There it is. The first Seth reference of the morning. Just looking, he's out of a Blaine mare, the Chad train, that Dabinet. So there was turf all over the pedigree. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt. Well, and I just pulled up his extensive work tab. And what's your approach and philosophy? Because a lot of times you'll see turf horses and they exclusively train on dirt. Mm-hmm. You gave him, over the winter, you did give him 1, 2, 3, 4 turf drills, and Palm Meadows has got a great, easy to utilize turf training oval. But what's your approach philosophically?
Well, I think, between my dad and I, most of our horses work on the dirt, even if they're turf horses. What we're really looking for is how they exit those works. So if a horse, works fine on the dirt, as a turf horse, and it comes back in good order after each of those dirt works, we're comfortable working them on the dirt. So there's times where we do work them on the turf when they really don't get over the dirt well in their workouts, and in which case we will work them on the turf. And then another reason is just to, experiment with the surface. Sure. So that kind of gives us a better line on what direction to go in. But, we're very comfortable working turf horses on the dirt, just, as long as they come back in good order. And, we worked him on the turf down at Palm Meadows several times just to, kind of reconfirm that's what he liked. And from then on, he's been on the dirt, and he actually works quite well on it and comes back healthy and sound, knock on wood. So that's really what our philosophy is. It's kind of gives us, a bit of a read on what they might want to do. And so that's how it is.
And notably, you pretty much stick to half miles. Talk about distance, because this is a horse, and basically, getting stamina into a horse to prepare for the mile and the 8ths, and now in this case the mile and 3/16. But I mean, they're published half miles, but chances are you're getting extensive gallop outs. And how do you build the stamina?
Yeah, well, so we really emphasize on starting the works off nice and smooth and finishing the works faster than we started them. So we like, the first quarter mile to be, well on the bridle, and then we like to pick it up down the lane. And if the horse is going well after the wire, let them have a strong gallop out. So, despite it being mostly half-mile works, published, we do emphasize, some nice, strong gallop outs. So they get a lot of fitness doing that. And, people often ask, how do you train, a sprinter differently than a marathon horse or a turf horse, over a dirt horse? And there's not a lot of variation in what we do, to be honest. I mean, the horse likes what they like. We really don't try to get too fancy or too cute with how we do things. We let the horse tell us what they're ready to do and willing to do. But, am I training, a two-turn turf horse different than a two-turn dirt horse? Not really, to be honest. I mean, they kind of, do what they do in the afternoon.
Is this a horse? It's a fun topic when you think about three turners, where, and obviously this is a horse you've had since he was a young horse, but we've heard, particularly when it comes to some of the older gelding types that get claimed, and then a trainer discovers, typically from exercise riders, they'll come back and they'll say, boss, he doesn't get tired. He won't get tired. This horse will go as long as you want. Mm-hmm. And that's like typically a cue to start looking in the condition book for the longest races that they're riding, because there's some horses that you don't really discover that until you discover it.
Well, I mean, my dad told me that from the day I was born, basically, and he says this to a lot of his owners. I mean, most of this is process of elimination. We have our crystal balls and we can try to decipher what the horse may or may not want to do. But a lot of times until you try it, you just don't know. And it might take us, 4 or 5 races to really figure out what a horse wants to do. And that can be a little frustrating to people at times. But like I said, until you go out and try it, you're just really not going to know.
Well, and that answer is interesting in another realm. I mean, obviously, you're a known quantity. You've got a name from the game's history that is as respected as there's ever been. But at the same time, when you're experimenting with a horse, short, long, turf, dirt, different things, these days, a young up-and-coming trainer also doesn't want to, I don't want to say waste starts, but doesn't want to lose 3 or 4 times with a horse figuring out this is an era where you've got to keep your win percentage up, because the minute your win percentage dwindles even a little bit these days, owners run away, or becomes hard to attract new owners. And it's so stupid, because I mean, as little as 20 years ago, nobody cared about win percentage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think Rusty Arnold and I were talking about it very recently. He said, I'm not sure there's one Hall of Fame trainer that has an over 20% lifetime win rate. So, and my dad always told me you can't be afraid to lose. You can't be afraid to put one in the entries, take a shot. I think there is a lot to be said about these days trying to keep your percentage up, and it looks good. But I think at the end of the day, you have to be willing to try new things with horses, and it's really about finding what they want to do. And sometimes it takes a little while.
Well, and there's also quite simply, just the aspect that nobody really races their horses into shape anymore. It like they would come from, you talk about a winter layoff, and horses would come from South Carolina or wherever, and somebody, you might start them 3 times, and whatever it is, getting ready for a spot. Nobody races their horses into shape anymore.
Right. I mean, you very rarely anymore hear someone say, "Oh, I'm going to give them a race."
Yeah.
We all like to win, that's for sure. But horses come in all shapes and sizes, and they need to be
Exactly.
approached differently at times.
You mentioned Palmetto, so wintertime down in Florida. But again, you grew up kind of summers up here at Saratoga. But for you, you said shipping World Beater back to Keeneland, and the workouts are all at Keeneland. So that's home base now?
Yeah, we have stables at Keeneland and Churchill Downs. World Beater's been stabled all spring, all summer at Keeneland. And we'll hopefully take them down to Florida this winter and, try to have hopefully a big year next year.
So where are you popping around? I was looking at entries last night. Kentucky, over at Colonial, obviously up here at Saratoga. That's the game plan in the summer.
Yeah, we aren't scared to ship. We're not gun shy about shipping around and finding the right spot. I mean, that's kind of my MO is putting my clients in the best position to win races, and if that means shipping one out of state, then that's what I lean towards doing, and it's worked out well, and I think you just gotta put them in the right spots. That's the name of the game.
I'm curious, a horse like World Beater, stakes, and were you at the stakes barn over by Ciro's, or did you get a spot in your father's barn?
My dad was nice enough to open up a spot in the main barn for us. He's a good dad. He's a good dad.
You got speaking of shippers and different places you're operating, you got today in the 5th race at Ellis. Another nice card at Ellis today, by the way, with the Kentucky Downs Preview Stakes and also the Pucker Up Refugee Stake from Arlington. But Corbett's Crush, firster by Volatile, and actually Judy Hicks bred this one. And tell us about Rebel Racing, 12-1. Jaime Torres, and what do you got here? You drew outside.
Yeah. I mean, she's actually maiden auction eligible. Rebel Racing, David Walker, one of my first ever clients. Nice. Love that guy. Bought her for $50,000, I believe, and so she's maiden auction eligible. But all the maiden auction races in the book currently are 7/8 of a mile. So I put her in going 3/4, which I liked a little better for her distance-wise, first time out in open company. So I elected to probably choose a little bit of a tougher race based on the distance for her. She's been very progressive in her works. Is she 100% cranked down to win first time? I'm not sure, but she's had 2 useful gate works, and I just thought it would be a good spot to get her started. But she's a lovely filly so far, and hopefully she can run that way.
Boy, that was a Christophism. She's a lovely filly.
Well, if I can be a fraction of what Christoph is like, I'll be doing well. That's for sure.
Tell us about the older maiden on Thursday. I'll be down at Colonial. Malibu Moon filly, MKW Racing. This was a Saratoga yearling 2 years ago, 300,000, and had a very nice debut in Indiana.
Yeah, it ran really well first time, was professional, was kind of in behind the pace and came up the rail and finished up well. Ran a pretty good number, and I found a race at Colonial going 7/8, which I really liked as the distance progression for her. And I think she fits in the race, and we'll hope to knock out a win. And for a guy named Pete Williams and his daughter Martha, who make up MKW Racing.
Okay.
They're very nice people and have been good supporters of me so far. So
I love it. And then there's a turf. We got a turf baby. This is at Ellis next Saturday, and Miso Speedy. That's cute.
I didn't come up with that name, but she's been a useful little filly. She is also maiden auction eligible.
60,000.
But due to the race distance and surface, I elected to put her in maiden special weight company, and she's been well in her own right, breezing from the gate well, and for a partnership who's supported me from the start. So you really enjoy doing well for those people that kind of got you started, and hope we can get lucky with her.
Sherry Greenberg and Vintage Thoroughbreds, and the name Miso Speedy. This is a Mendelssohn out of Sushi Empire, and there's your Miso reference. Very clever, actually. And I tell you, 47-4 gate blast for this.
Yeah, she's been pretty forward on the dirt in her gate works. She's by Mendelssohn, so You know, I'm not going to try to get too cute and you know, mess around with the dirt too much. You know, we'll try her on the turf and hope she takes to the surface and the distance.
3 maidens for Riley this week. Corbett's Crush today at Ellis. That's in the 5th. Then you're going to jump ahead to Colonial on Thursday. Malibu Muse in the 4th with Alex Concepcion. And then Saturday back at Ellis. Miso Speedy in the 5th. A couple of allowance runners too. Quietly at Ellis. That's tomorrow on the Monday card. And they're back to Monday racing after the heat cancellation last week. And then Grand Muriella at Horseshoe Indy.
Yeah. So got some action going on all over the map. And,
big time.
Yeah, we'll try to.
I would assume, being a Kentucky guy, you're going to have some horses over at Kentucky Downs.
Yeah.
As a trainer, do you look for a particular type of runner to race? I mean, it's a unique racetrack, obviously.
It is. I mean, you know, you open up the condition book, see what, you know, who's eligible for what, and then, you know, once you get closer to the meet, you see, you know, what horses are doing well, who's ready to run. You know, we're not going to run one that's not doing well or not ready to run just because they have big purses. You know, they've got to be doing well. And there are plenty of, you know, horses that look live that we've taken over there, even with my dad, that look like they can't lose and they throw in a clunker. So it's a little bit of a nuanced racetrack, and some love it, some hate it. And if you win, you really like it.
Well, as a trainer, do you appreciate it? I mean, it's a totally different type of a surface, essentially, with undulations and whatnot that you don't see normally.
Yeah, it's fun. You know, it's a great atmosphere, different track. You know, you try to guess which ones might like it or not like it, but as I said earlier, until you try them, you just don't know. And but it's a fun, you know, boutique meet to have on the schedule, particularly, you know, with the big purses, obviously. But you know, it's good racing.
It's one of the things at Kentucky Downs that Steve Asmussen kind of taught me this. You do not bring a faint-hearted horse. If you've got a horse that has tendencies to be, you know, to be scared of everything, they're gonna come up to the crest of that hill and they're gonna start with the little footsteps and be all tentative because they get scared. If you've got a horse who's a maniac and who needs to be challenged all the time, they're all over it.
Yeah, it's like I said, some really thrive on it, and some really there's never bring me here again. Let's go somewhere else.
Yep.
So it takes a certain horse, and yeah, we hope to have a couple that can compete there.
We Chuck Simon and I we took Kicking and Screaming. She had run Friday at Arlington, and that week Chuck had called me and said, there's a race at Kentucky Downs on Tuesday. He said, we could run her back on 4 days. I said, okay. And we chased home a horse of your dad's. And she was second at Kentucky Downs. She was a stall run maniac. And Chuck said, I think she's going to like it. And sure enough, she was at Chester House. Sure enough, she liked it a lot. And she finished second at a nice number. But your father won. I think he won by, I don't know, 14.
That's not very nice.
But there's that uphill. That's the other thing. There's the uphill incline to the wire. So, I mean, the horses come to the bottom and then they straighten, and all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute. Now we're going uphill again.
Yeah, you throw them for a loop sometimes.
It's fun.
We'll wrap it up here, but wanted to get you in, obviously, after the big grade one, and for you, the first grade one. So congratulations again.
Thank you.
On the win yesterday.
First of many.
What's the game? When do you head out of town?
Day after the sale, which is Wednesday, but we'll be back hopefully around Travers time, hopefully to watch Sovereignty run.
Very good.
Good idea.
Talk a little bit about the ride, watching your father and Sovereignty.
It's been a dream ride. I mean, you know, we talk about
because I will not to interrupt, but you were his longtime assistant. I used to have you in here all the time because I'd walk up to your father in the paddock and say, "Come over with me." No, Riley will come over.
Yeah, no, it's been unbelievable to watch the team. You know, enjoy this period of time, you know, between Junior and the Godolphin team and my dad. It's just special on many levels, and I'm not sure if they've even reached the bottom of that horse yet. So it's exciting, and hopefully we have a big second half of the year with him.
Yeah, He's looked phenomenal. The other day looked great. But World Beater looked great yesterday. And again, wish you a lot of good luck going forward with him. The other runners we mentioned, have a good fall. Look forward to seeing you back up here again as well. But again, congratulations on the win yesterday.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll head to a break. When we come back, more from Loose on the Lead. Stay tuned.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
For centuries, the bond between horse and human has been forged in trust and hands-on care. Now the sport of thoroughbred racing is combining those timeless traditions with cutting-edge technology to raise our standards of equine safety to the highest level. Wearable biometric devices measure subtle changes in a horse's stride to help optimize safety and performance. State-of-the-art imaging technology helps pinpoint areas of potential concern for early intervention by expert veterinarians. And the sport's new independent regulator, the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority, is using AI and enhanced data modeling to help prevent injury.
Quarter mile was a quick one.
From sunrise to sunset, there's an ecosystem of trust and care and a commitment to well-being. So win or lose, it's safety that runs first. To learn more, visit Safe.
Welcome back to Loose on the Lead. Seth Merrow and Steve Byk. And while we have a chance, I will let you once again promo Beat Byk.
Why not?
I didn't take my Beat Byk. Well, I'm in, though. I'm in from the first week. I'm in,
so you didn't even have to. All right. Well, I did wake up a little bit yesterday. It took me 3 weeks to pick a winner.
You said you had the other Rusty Arnold on.
Well, Killwind to me.
That was a good call.
Rusty was funny because he said that's not the way I drew it up. To be honest, I mean she stumbles at the break and spots the field, but she was the right horse to utilize in there. So anyway, that was the Beat Byk horse for Saturday. Something funny actually occurred for the Beat Byk horse today, and for those of you that haven't played, NTRA.com/NHC National Horse Players Championship /Beat Byk. You can either come with my selection. If I win and I pick the winner and you came with me, you're qualified. If you don't like who I selected, you pick your own horse and they win, you're qualified. You only have to qualify once in the 8 weeks. That'll get you into the September final, which is a 12-race pick and pray. And you can win that, and you're going to Vegas next March to compete in the National Horse Players Championship. This is one of the free rolls that's available, and it means a lot to me to do this every year and be able to get typically a kind of a rank and file player. Not everybody plays contests. It's not doesn't have to be expensive to play contests. You approach it
horse tourneys or horse players during the week.
Qualifiers,
$18 that then gets you into the $300 or $180 qualifier on Saturday.
Exactly.
I've played those a lot. So for $18 you can get in, and really, if you can then qualify for the big contest on the weekend 2 or 3 out of 5 times, you're making your money. So.
Well, exactly, and don't forget, once you do play in, there's the cash prizes, as well as there's your bankroll, and there's a million different reasons to play. And the chances are, one of the funny things about the contest world is that you've handicapped the races anyway. So it's just an added layer, especially if you're home. If you're playing from home, it's just an added opportunity for you to make more money and potentially make it to the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge, make it to any of the big season. There's a lot of big seasonal contest opportunities over the course of the year. The Whitney Challenge, the Haskell Challenge, the Travers. There'll be, I'm not sure what the dollar amount, probably a $2,000 or a $3,000 Travers Challenge, coming up. So the point is, this is a great introductory contest opportunity, the Beat Pick contest. A lot of players have used it historically as an entree into contests. Dale Day, who is the voice of Remington Park. Dale, the first contests he played were a couple of Beat Picks 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And then he qualified for NHC separately, made it to the final table, and finished, I think, 9th that year in the NHC maybe 3 years ago, which would be good for probably 50,000.
Oh, at least, yeah.
50 to 75,000. Yeah. Anyway, NTRA.com/NHC/BeatPick. Today I did something unusual. When I made the picks for Beat Pick, I picked the Troy and picked the favorite, Bring the Band Home, Mrs. Weber and Mark Cassie. But then last night, when I had to come up with a horse for the DePaula play of the day, I really struggled on this card today. I thought this was a very confusing set of races. I handicap races 4 through 10, and after scratches, I'll transfer it over to the website, to stevebyk.com. I ended up going to this race, and as the DePaula play of the day, I'm using Let My People Go. This horse, once the winter ended and wrapped up, Joe Sharp got Let My People Go back on the turf. And so he really was a little, he was competitive on the synthetic at Turfway Park, but he's way better as a turf horse. And here he is as a 6-year-old. His last 2 races have basically been as good, and then the best race he's ever run. So he's had 5 weeks into this spot. He's going to be every bit of that 10-1. I still think Bring the Band Home probably wins, but at 10-1, I thought he was a good price horse to key off.
It's interesting you say that, because I handicapped the race Bring the Band Home on top, Let My People Go right underneath. I think they're both logical.
Good.
All right, why don't we head for a break, because she's in the green room.
Well, can we quickly hit the results from yesterday that we didn't talk about?
Yeah.
We got the Saratoga Derby done, and I made reference to Kilwin. The test never disappoints, and boy, both of Bill Mott's horses, the inside and the outside, Ragtime, she could be any kind.
Yeah.
Here she is in her not just a grade 1 debut, the stakes debut of any kind, and watch for the 1 to come sneaking up the inside. That's Ragtime, and the Godolphin. You'll see her in the blue. And then on the outside, Beauty Reigns. It's funny, Ragtime got bet down to 9-2. Beauty Reigns was 10-1. You would not have thought that Kilwin could win this race, and she ends up winning by even a long neck. Just a tremendous finish Jose Ortiz riding great. So that was terrific. And then in the Whitney, Sierra Leone and Highland Falls. And I selected Highland Falls, keyed off of him just because he was going to be a price. And this was the time to bet him. And here it's the inverse. I thought he was going to get home. That's him with the Godolphin hood. But Sierra Leone is just a relentless closing monster. And in the meantime, Highland Falls had basically been attending the pace. I mean, he was right behind the leaders from early on. And he ran a very courageous race. A 109 buyer for Sierra Leone, 107 for Highland Falls. And how about Plucky Disarm? Ron Winchell was funny yesterday. Ron said, I wouldn't normally be happy with a third place finish, but it's a second grade one for him, a second grade one placing. He won the Matt win as a 3-year-old. Then he got hurt after the Travers. He likes it up here. And we'll see if they run back in the Jockey Club Gold Cup,
which could be a really good race.
It should be.
Yeah, mind frame,
right?
And some of these may be coming back. Looking forward to that. Definitely.
So Disarm is now made, I don't know, $1.7 million, and he's going to stand somewhere. If he can win a Grade 1, chances are he'd stand in Kentucky. Right now, he's probably a regional sire, but he's a gun runner out of a Tappet mare, the classic Winchell thoroughbreds breeding. From a maiden standpoint, the Ted Nafi story. Actually, when Anna Seitz joins us, I'm sure she'll get this is one of the funniest things going, if you haven't heard this story. The horse is obviously named after Ned Toffee from Spendthrift, but the Blood Horse put up an interview. They said Spendthrift's season, breeding season highlights featuring Ted Nafi, and a couple of people got a screen capture of it. It bubbled to the surface, and
supposedly his daughter then tweeted back, "Yeah, close call,
close enough." And the funny part was, somebody else was going to name a horse Ted Nafi, and they called Ned and they said, "Is it okay?" And Ned said, "No, please don't do that." But then Eric Gustafson, who owns Spendthrift, the son-in-law of the late B. Wayne Hughes, Eric Gustafson said, "I'm naming the horse Ted Nafi," and there was nothing Ned could do about it. 79 buyer for the maiden win, and Ewing got the jump on Obliteration and wins the Sanford. Phil Bauer. How about Phil Bauer? Here's Ewing at Obliteration. There was just no getting. Quite a job here, by the way, by Jose Ortiz. Did you see the way he floated Flavian out on Obliteration? That's race riding, folks. The 3-year-old filly making a second start for Phil Bauer and Mr. Rigney, Delightful Claire, ran faster than the test.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
And actually got a little lower figure. I'm gonna guess. I'll talk to Andy Beyer, but I'm gonna guess he thought that the track changed speeds a little bit later in the day. That it got a little faster. And then there was that Ornealia of Chad Brown's that came running late in that maiden 3/4 for the fillies. That was the $1.1 million Gervin. Kind of a modest figure for that horse. I think a 72 buyer, but visually impressive. So tremendous day of racing. The wagering record for Whitney Day shattered.
23% up.
Just shattered
crazy.
The mark. Well, listen, the formula, I tell you, think about it. What if the Sanford had 8 horses or 10 horses? This was as great a day, although there is a funny story. I see Dale Romans, who had a maiden running, and I said, boy, there may have been a Whitney Day as nice, but certainly not any better. And Dale goes, "I'll give you one better." And of course, he's talking about when he won the Whitney. Then I see Al Stahl half an hour later. I said to Al, boy, some Whitney Day. He goes, "I'll tell you a better one." Same thing when Blame won. And then I saw Erin McLaughlin, and she said, when Frosted and Invasaur won the Whitney, those were great Whitney days. Everybody loves their Whitney day, even if it was raining when you win the Whitney. It's just a great day. It's just the absolute best.
A couple of great days coming up Monday and Tuesday with the sale.
Yep.
And we have Seitz Ciannello will join us. Anna from Fasig Tipton. So we'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit about the sale and more. Stay tuned.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse. Haven't signed up for a Capital OTB account yet? Now's the time to take advantage of the sign-up bonus. Open up a new account with $200 or more, bet $400 by the end of the month, and receive a bonus $200 into your account. Plus, you can take advantage of everything an OTB account has to offer: wagering from any device, live streaming, racing info, past performances, online promotions, and more. Sign up today and take advantage of the new account bonus. Details at capitalotb.com. As promised before the break, we are joined now by Seitz Ciannello from Fasig Tipton. Again, with the sale coming up, it's one of my favorite weeks. When people say to me, when should I come up to Saratoga? I say, come up Whitney weekend, and then go over for the sales, and always a lot of fun. So, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you guys for having me back.
That's true. You're a perennial. You're like what we call a perennial.
Thank you. I'm happy. I always try to fit it in. I was like in a meeting, and I was like, I gotta go, guys. I have something very important to do. I left the sale and ran over here. I'm still sweating. Training.
How long have you been up here? And when do the horses show up so people can start taking a look at them?
They're already there. I've been here since Wednesday.
Well, I know the horses are already there, but when do they?
Friday.
Oh,
started showing on Friday, and then the sale is tomorrow night and Tuesday night, 6:30. It is busy over there right now.
So they just show up so people compress. They got a couple of days over the weekend to take their look.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of work. I mean, it's a small select sale, but when you're looking at such nice individuals, you want to go back and look multiple times. Yeah. And then you want to bring your buyer if you're a bloodstock agent or your trainer, So it takes some time, and then you have to go to the races. Then you have to have a long lunch at the sale. So it's a multi-day process. But right now the sales grounds are packed.
That's a key question. What's the go-to snack bar order
for me?
Yeah.
Oh, I like a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. Actually, Michael McCarthy, big time trainer, came over this morning. We had breakfast. It's fun to, I used to work with Whitey when he worked for Todd. So seeing him at the grounds, trainer journalism, it's pretty cool having him.
What officially, as a longtime friend, what's the policy on calling Michael Whitey these days? Because when he transitioned, when he hung the shingle, when he transitioned into a trainer, we were all instructed, no more Whitey. Can't call him Whitey anymore.
I'll tell you my first Whitey story. I started working for Todd Pletcher, and everyone said, "Oh, call Whitey for this, call Whitey for that." So I called him and I said, "Hey, my name's Anna. Are you Whitey?" He goes, "Don't call me Whitey." I was like, "What am I supposed to call you?" He goes, "Call me Michael." I go, "Okay, Whitey." So that's my story on Whitey. That's his nickname. It's great. I have to say, I am so proud of Michael McCarthy. I was at the Haskell with him last weekend. Here's why: because all these fans came up to him and were asking for his picture and shaking his hand, and he's handled this so well. And I looked at him and I said, you've made it. You're like the next Todd Pletcher. You've made it. I was like, I got teary-eyed. I was like, it's so nice to see the young next generation come up and do well, but to handle it with grace and class. And he's been through a lot. He's been through a lot of tough times. And seeing him over there at the sales grounds, and I was just like, I'm really proud of you. I don't want to get him too big of a head, but it's nice to see.
No,
he's a good guy. He's a
100%.
good.
And the family, and it's a.
And then almost losing their house in the fire, and just everything he's been through it's pretty cool.
Yeah. No,
so I'm proud of him.
100%. Yeah, you're. I was gonna say you're far from alone on that front. The season, and we should mention you got both books.
I got my books.
Yeah, the New York Breds will follow up next week.
Weekend.
Yeah. We're actually
Both sales a lot of fun.
We'll be in Virginia, but it does feel like everything's in place for a Bafo sale. Things are the July. I mean, July was a sensation. How about the Timonium?
Oh my gosh, sale topper
yesterday.
You couldn't make it up. It's like perfect timing.
Well, you do. You guys script this.
Yeah, we're like, okay, like buy this horse, win, and then get your buyers to show up in Saratoga. It always helps when you win a big one right before a nice one right before a sale. But the buying bench is, to me, it's not just about 1 or 2 or 5 buyers, but a mix of buyers, and we have buyers from multiple countries over there, and it's like the right ones. So everyone used to say, well, Saratoga sale is just you don't get the international buyers, but it's not the case anymore. We've got Middle East, we've got Japan, we've got England, Ireland, France, we've got Australia showed up this year, Canada. I mean, we've got all the huge buyers from right here in America, so it's pretty exciting. Libya, they're our new big buyers.
They become the
really?
big time. The Taserman, the Tagermine.
They're here.
You know what's interesting about the catalog too? For a boutique sale, and a lot of first crop stallions.
I was thinking
which
that
is
walking over here, how
right?
We could talk all day about the catalog because there's just so many exciting, interesting prospects in it, and different stallions and young ones and older ones proven. And
the first time stallions are always fun.
Well, but this is not the showcase typically for them. This is a place where they're looking for 7-figure sellers.
Really good-looking ones this year that work for this sale. So, and everybody's always excited because they haven't had a chance to disappoint us yet. So it's like they jump on those, and I'm guilty of it.
We'll talk about that for a second. It's called the select sale for a reason. What is the selection process?
These are handpicked. So the breeders all over the country or world will nominate their pedigrees, and then our inspection team will go to the farm and physically put their eyes on every single one of them and
multiple times.
Yes, sometimes we'll go back. There's some farms we were looking. We had a guy last week, like the day before, just making sure that the horse was in the best shape, and so we go out a bunch of times and then work with the breeders to bring their best up here.
And there's actually a sidebar in that process that unless you were fairly close to the business, you guys had an overhaul, not out of firing people. You had one of the greatest spotters in the game's history pass, and you've had
lost a couple.
Some you've had turnover. Talk about that.
Yeah, it was scary because when you have such a team of really, really astute horsemen on your team, and then we lost 2, passed away, fairly close to at the same time. We were nervous because when you are a breeder, you like to have a
relationship
person. So that's your guy or girl at Fasig. And so when we lost that, we were all nervous because we said, how are we ever going to replace so much expertise? But amazingly, we had a great team in place, and they just filled in the holes, and we got some new people, and it's become, it seems that it's continuing. I feel like we're continuing the legacy, and that our gentlemen, Bill and Dennis, would be very proud of how the guys have continued on. Well,
of course, Bill Graves got Brian, right? And who?
Dennis Lynch passed away too. But then we've got at Fasig we have Jesse Eulery is fairly new, and he's been obviously he has multiple strengths. He's a very good announcer.
Yeah, I was going to say you could throw Jesse on the mic. You
can put him on a mic, and he is just so he's done a lot.
He can chant.
He chants. He does it all.
Yeah,
and he's hilarious. So he
a big personality.
Big personality. He's done really well with all the digital sales, where he announces the digital sales, and he and Frank Alosa have really taken it like to the next level with their announcing together. And Frank's been a good addition. You know, he's not full-time Fasig, but he helps with a lot of stuff as well. And then we saw Peter down in Florida, Peter Penny, and then the Kentucky guys, Evan Ferraro, you know, the younger generation, he's really stepped up. So it's good. Max and Bain are old hat. So got a good team.
Yes.
Nice guys.
I pulled up some video. The guys can run that from the sale last year. And I'll just use that video as a lead in to you to talk a little bit about, you know, people can go to the sale. As I said at the top, I always recommend come up sales week and go over the sale. It's a lot of fun. Backyard is always buzzing. And I assume, and I'm relatively certain, you encourage that because it adds buzz to the whole couple of nights. So it's a fun night, a fun couple of nights. And I've said to people over the years, it can also, if you're not familiar, teach you a little bit about the breeding side of the game. You pick up a catalog and you look through and you can kind of learn a little bit that may help your handicapping as well. But again, talk about, you know, the public coming.
The public is welcome to come. We just ask the public not to sit down inside. You can walk inside, but the seats are reserved for registered buyers and sellers, and we use every single seat. So there's an art gallery upstairs, so you can go upstairs and buy art, and you can, if you are interested in buying a yearling, you can set up credit, come in the sales office, you can watch the auction online, you can bid online, you can bid on the phone. We'll find any way to take your bid. That's one thing. So we have a snack bar that's open to the public outside. Monday night's usually when the whole kind of city comes out. So it's crowded. We just ask people to be mindful that these are young, thoroughbred horses that are, we just ask you to be mindful that there are animals around and to be careful and not clap and be waving a lot around and spooking the horses. So, but it's quite a scene. It's a place to be seen and to see. And
you go over, you're going to see some of the biggest names in the game. Bob Baffert typically there.
Bobby Flay's looking. He's around, and he's, you know, they're all the big names. Are big owners, big trainers.
Bobby
big
selling
buyers.
in this catalog?
He's got one in this catalog, and I keep saying, why aren't you going to buy one? And he's like, oh, you never know. But just having him around, I think, is fun because he's such a, and I'm sure Jason Worth's around, you know, and I'll probably be
Griffin Johnson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. He's been, I think he's done a great job.
Yes.
You know,
getting
new fans.
Got to get him on the show. I talked to him yesterday because he's in on Ewing now, too, as well.
That was
impressive. That was very good. But again, the backyard, a lot of fun. And I will say to people, if you can't make it Monday and Tuesday, there's not a lot of elbow room there, but the New York bred sale has become very popular as well. And that's
Sunday
that's fun to
and
go
Monday,
to also.
And it's kind of a different format. It's Sunday night at 7:00 and then Monday, August 11th at noon. So it's nighttime and then daytime, and it'll go further into. So it's just a little bit easier too to kind of. Just a different dynamic.
What are the hours on the Monday?
6:30.
So 6:30, go over there Monday, Tuesday, and again, it's really a lot of fun. And
lots of nice horses out of that sale. Sierra Leone, gosh. Flightline, but that was cool yesterday, huh? So I'm sure Chad will be busy shopping.
Speaking of Flightline, fairly early on Monday night, Hip 34, if we're going to do some hips to watch, Flightline filly out of All American Dream, which makes this one a half to Barnes. And I would imagine that this filly is going to get a lot of attention. All the early flight lines that have sold internationally are
talking a lot about. I'm very curious.
Very much.
All eyes will be on, you know,
to say the least. Do you have any hips to watch? I
think that like the half sister to journalism's in the sale. So I said to Michael, have you gone and looked at her yet? And this morning he said he hadn't been over there, but I saw all the partners are around, and there's some really nice, all the big sires are over there. So, Not This Time, Curlin, Gun Runner. There's so many exciting ones to look at.
Here's another Flightline filly, Hip 102, out of Georgie's Angel, which makes this one a half to Cave Rock.
There's one big pedigree after the next, I'm telling you.
That's the fun thing, too. You look down the page, and as I say, you learn a little bit about breeding because I think folks that are new to the game maybe hear the reference to black type.
Yes.
This is where you see the black type. You open up the catalog and you look down the page, and if you see a lot of
names
that bold,
black and bold and big is better. The more bold and big, the better the pedigree.
No question.
But it's not always just about pedigree. You can, buy the perfectly pedigreed horse, and it doesn't always work out. But I think there's also very good-looking athletic horses in here that just are true knockout standouts.
Yeah. Whenever I bring people in here to talk about buying at the sale, a lot of what they talk about is I like to focus on the mind, horses that are kind of at the stall door looking out and they're curious.
Alerts.
That plays a lot into it as well as what's on the page.
Yeah, you want a horse that you can work with, that's classy, that is, able to be trained. If it's completely crazy, it makes it challenging for a trainer. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they already have their work cut out for them. The last thing they want is a horse that's impossible to train, because we know how that works out.
Exactly right.
Always looking for the whole package. And I feel like that's what the beauty of this sale is there's a lot of those in here. And it's not always, you don't have to spend $1 million. You can buy horses all range. So there's cheaper horses as well. So when people say, oh, we can't afford Saratoga, that's not true. There's horses for everybody up here.
Yeah,
So.
and particularly when you get to next week in the New York Bred sale, and the New York Bred program is so lucrative now.
Oh my gosh, it's getting stronger and stronger. It's next year that they run for 2026. So these yearlings will be, this is the year that they'll be eligible to run for the same price as open. So to me, it's like this would be the year to buy a New York Bred, because if your horse can pay its way, that's always a plus. If it can pay its bill. If it's making money, then you're ahead of most of the game. But if it's paying its way and you're having fun,
and I will also tout, because it's a favorite day for me, because it's kind of the last shot of horse racing in Saratoga. The October sale's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh, I love coming up here for the October sale. The leaves are changing, and it's just a beautiful time to be up here.
An extra shot of horse racing, just when you need
a little pick me up of It's a mixed sale, and we get busy after this. We go right back, and then we have a bunch of October sales, digital sales, and then our big November sale. So it's nonstop.
Night of Stars. Nothing like Night of Stars.
Nothing like Night of Stars. It's like Christmas.
What is the day after the Breeders' Cup?
It's the Monday night after the Breeders' Cup. So everybody will fly back, including a lot of those fillies will come back on the plane and come right over to Fasig. So we are working hard at the same time finalizing that catalog too, getting some big exciting names in, hopefully. So Puka was announced the other day, which will be fun.
Most of the time I throw them away. I mean, the bloodstock agents keep all their notated books.
Yeah.
But the one catalog every year that you save and you put on your shelf is the Night of Stars.
Oh, I like hearing that. You have your Night of Stars purple collection.
Because there's color photos. It's not like newsprint. And the race records. And you get the race record.
You should have. I would have brought one over and we could have showed you. But it is. It's good. And then you go online for the enhanced, and you can watch all of their races. And it's always nice to see the enhanced page on the United Stars website. We always say go to the website because there's so much more information too that updates. If something's happened since these catalogs were printed,
that's a good point.
There's updates. So
because that is often the case, and they will announce that over there when the horse comes in the ring.
It'll say there'll be a sticker, the consigner will tell you. But we always encourage people to, and really trying to get people to use their iPads and download the Equine Line app, because it's better for the environment and it's easier. Then you don't have to throw them away. You can store the catalogs and all your notes in the app.
Yeah.
So that's where you'll see a lot of people over there with their iPads now.
Again, wanted to get you in here to have a little conversation, to tell people to swing by the sale Monday and Tuesday. Again, 6:30 Monday and Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
So keep that in mind. And if you're not familiar, it's a block away from the racetrack.
Right across the street. You can't miss us. We basically have the whole block, and there's a giant sales pavilion with all our grads outside.
You go down East Avenue, you won't miss it.
You'll see all the people.
Hang out in the backyard. You'll have a lot of fun. If you don't make it Monday and Tuesday, next weekend, the New York
and in
Bred
between
sale.
the basketball game, everyone's going to come out.
Before I let you go, I was going to get to the basketball game. Always benefits the chaplaincy. I played for a few years myself. Once I scored a basket, I retired. But you're back. You're back this year.
I took a couple years off, come out of retirement. I hear we have a new coach, Kenny McPeak. Said I have to play this year. He said he's got some new tactics. He told me about it at the sale yesterday. Can't tell you what they are because in case any jockeys are watching, you better watch out. I've been practicing. My 9-year-old is about 5 feet tall, and I've been stuffing his shots, practicing like he's a jockey. I'm ready. I've been lifting weights.
Really, you've been dumping on.
I've been blocking my 6-year-old and my 9-year-old. I'm ready.
Oh, that's great.
I'm out of shape running wise, but I feel like at least maybe I'll block the shot. I don't really want a lot of playing time because I'm going to be.
Well, that's part of the reason I retired. And also, I went up to guard Irad Ortiz one time at the half court mark, and I thought, I got him. Boom, he's by me.
They're
like
so fast. Everybody's like, how do the jockeys win? I'm like, they're so athletic and they're so fast. And when you're a natural athlete, you don't really have to be like great at basketball. You just are, and they're in better shape. I mean, they're so strong.
Well, and there's always a jock. For years, it was DeSormo.
Yeah.
Kent DeSormo would drop 30. I mean, DeSormo would drain them from all
downtown.
over the
He was shooting NBA threes.
DeSormo is a tremendous basketball player.
Yeah.
Also, typically they get a ringer. I don't know who it'll be this year, but it was John Wallace from Syracuse.
Yeah, I know. I
remember
that's where I met Avery Johnson. I walk out on the basketball court. Avery's out there. That was fun. I'm like, I am taking him down.
But again, I'm going to try to get Umberto and maybe Ramon Dominguez in Wednesday morning to pump that up. It's 2 blocks away, Saratoga Rec Center. On next Wednesday night, that's worth a visit as well. That's the Saratoga tradition. So
it's a great cause. It's a good charity.
Yeah, I had Will Walden in a few weeks ago. He said he's
playing. I heard.
Yeah, he said he had a powwow with Kenny McPeak, and they were kind of planning some strategy out. So it should be very, very interesting.
Elliot used to be a good basketball player. Yeah.
But I said to Will, I said there was a big race, right, where he wound up in the winner's circle with a cast because he broke his foot playing
basketball. They have a court at Windstar. I used to play when I worked for Todd Pletcher. When we'd be in town, we'd go over. Todd would play too, and we'd play. And I have sharp elbows. It would get ugly. We would foul the crap out of each other. And Elliot was just as bad. But everyone said, "You play dirty." I said, "I'm a girl. I have to play dirty because otherwise, I'm not going to get. It's not going to be effective."
Now I definitely have to go over to see the
elbows.
Some
little low elbows. Maybe I'll sharpen them up for Wednesday.
And I appreciate the visit. And again, we tell people to swing by one or both of the sales, Monday, Tuesday, and then the following weekend as well for the New York Reds. But it looks like it's going to be another great season over here. Sales nights Monday and Tuesday. Again, appreciate the visit.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's a lot of fun as always.
All right. We'll wrap it up here. Steve, once again, beat Byk.
Beat Byk.
Which race is it today?
Detroit.
Who'd you pick?
I forgot momentarily.
I picked Mrs. Weber. Bring the band home, and I got to ask Charlotte about the name because for her it's an offbeat name.
Yeah, it's not her normal.
No,
it should have been super big.
Seriously.
It's something. It's interesting. So I'm going to find out. We got to find out about that. But in the DePaula play of the day, I'm using Joe Sharp. But by the way, congratulations to Joe on win number 1,000.
Oh yeah, he's having a big year.
Friday. Yeah,
good for him.
And every single day is a big day, considering
another
sick
good guy, hard worker. Does it all.
And I do like he also won out of town, as did Mark Cassio at the milestone a couple of weeks ago. But they still have the card ready to go. So
every racetrack is one of the funniest things. If it's somebody that's got multiple starters all over the country, everybody's competing. Who's going to have the congratulations sign?
Oh, multiple! I never thought about that. Yeah, they got to be ready.
Cassie, there were like 6. Six signs that were printed up.
That was cool with the DJ horse, and that's pretty.
28. Did you hear the 2,800th win for DJ Stables? 2,800 wins. It's an impossible number.
Oh yeah,
that is another. Mr. Green is one of my favorite, and John. They are like Mr. Green is such a classy. That's the best. I mean, I just want to give him a shout out.
Lois,
he has been
kind-hearted. She used the funny part about it is that John Green and Len Green. It was Lois running the show from the word go. She had Aaron Yagoda set me straight on that. I said, who should I talk to? Talk to Lois. They don't know anything.
Mr. Green is just Mr. Green. I think he gets 5,000 steps a day. He's been a mentor to me. I just think when he wins a race, their whole family's so nice. It's nice to see when good owners win, like Charlotte Weber. It's nice to see.
Listen, that's one of the things up here.
The fixtures.
That's special. Well, yesterday with Riley.
Locals, they said, all these locals are winning.
Well, with Pin Oak. Yeah, that's a huge win for them, for everything they're putting in. Right? All the money.
Totally. Good for Riley. Gosh.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
great guy.
All right, we'll wrap it up for another edition of Loose on the Lead. So I'm gathering you said you're out of town next week.
Next 2 weeks.
I cannot believe you're going to miss the New York Red Sale. It won't be the same.
Well,
Colonial's pretty cool though.
We've got Colonial, and now we've got we thought we were going to Del Mar the next week, but we may actually end up going to Woodbine for the plate instead, because it turns out that the Woodbine Mile, where we were supposed to go in September, the timing is all goofy for my Kentucky trip. I'd have to hightail it up.
Well, we're going, so people can tune into us. We'll be
You'll be a Woodbine.
Ooh.
We're regulars up there.
You got your enhanced ID and everything. You ready to leave the country?
It still works with the upgraded license, right?
Oh boy.
I'm staying out of this.
All right, I'll make it work. Well, I got a passport. I got a
Seth will be
passport.
broadcasting from El Salvador.
I have a passport. A passport.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have to check into that.
Maybe we should cut this part of the show. Delete.
That's right. The YouTube portion will not see this.
Live from Guantanamo. Seth Merrow, everybody.
All right, time to wrap it up.
On that note,
But again, beautiful
get
day
your
here.
new ID, people.
Beautiful day up here. Again, sale Monday and Tuesday. We're back Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Handicapper support, 10 a.m. racing across America. We'll see you then.
You like free money? Well, Capital OTB gives its players plenty of opportunities to cash in. At Capital OTB, there are so many ways for horse players to receive bonus dollars by simply participating in promotions such as our bankrolls, bounty bets, online handicapping contests, and much, much more. Plus, with Capital OTB's Player Rewards program, you get actual cash back. So what are you waiting for? Log on today at CapitalOTB.com or CapitalOTBBet.com and claim your free money.
It's been referred to as possibly the best equine-themed gift shop on the planet. Impressions of Saratoga. Impressions of Saratoga, celebrating the Saratoga and equestrian lifestyles. It's your number one choice for Saratoga souvenirs, apparel, and gift shopping. We have gifts for the entire family, and we're pet-friendly too. Visit us online at impressionssaratoga.com or come on down. Impressions of Saratoga, 368 Broadway, downtown Saratoga.
This may be a life changer.
The best of the best. It's a pretty damn big deal.
All walks of life abounds in this one game. It's just amazing.
It's special.
It's a different level of excitement. It's a different level of adrenaline.
This is the show.
It's surreal. It was wonderful. It's the mecca for tournaments.
From the backstretch at Saratoga, this is Loose on the Lead with Steve Byk and Seth Merrow. Loose on the Lead is sponsored by